योऽहन्तः प्रविश्यमवाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् यं गुरुं हि स्वयं सत्यः प्रज्ञाप्तिविनीतयः दीप्तिश्चाप्युक्ता नित्यं तं गुरुं प्रणमाम्यहम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So we completed the lectures on Ganesha-bhujanga. So now we start with Subrahmanya-bhujanga. Ganesha-bhujanga was a very short one, had only 9 verses. Subrahmanya-bhujanga had almost 30 plus 33 verses also. So we'll start with this. Bhujangam, as I told you, refers to a 12-syllable meter. We also saw in the previous class what could be the meaning of Bhujangam in a couple of ways. So how this could be interpreted. So we start with the first shloka of Subrahmanya-bhujanga. Sada bala rupapi
Sada bala rupapi Sada bala rupapi
Vignadrihantri
Vignadrihantri Vignadrihantri
Mahadanti vaktrapi
Mahadanti vaktrapi Mahadanti vaktrapi
Panchasyamanya
Panchasyamanya
Panchasyamanya Vidhindradi mrigya
Vidhindradi mrigya Vidhindradi mrigya
Ganesha bhidhame
Ganesha bhidhame Ganesha bhidhame
Vidhaktam shriyam
Vidhaktam shriyam Vidhaktam shriyam
Kapi kalyanamurtihi
Kapi kalyanamurtihi
Kapi kalyanamurtihi Kapi kalyanamurtihi shriyam vidhaktam. So this is what we need to understand here. And this kalyanamurti, murti is a Strilinga shabda. Kapi kalyanamurtihi. So sada bala rupa, that is why the description is rupa. Rupa murti. Sada bala rupa pi vignadrihantri. So here it is explicitly stated what murti is being referred to. There are certain descriptions which may not be sometimes quite evident, but certain descriptions clearly point out to murti. So here, though he says kapi kalyanam, kalyana murti means a murti that which will fetch you kalyana. Okay? Kalyana is all round well-being. So a murti which will bring in. Kapi means something which is inexplainable, indescribable. Okay? And that's where people use kapi. Kimapi saundaryam, suppose you say. The beauty is indescribable. Okay? So kapi kalyana murtihi shriyam vidhattam. So may that bring you all the prosperity. Okay? This is what the last quarter says. Vidhattam shriyam kapi kalyana murtihi. But having stated that, so he brings in some interesting features in this verse. And this murti is described as Ganesha Abhidha. Abhidha means the one which is named. Abhidha nama. Okay, name is called Abhidha. So this Abhidha, Ganesha Abhidha, the murti which is described by the term Ganesha. Ganesha-bhidha. So this is something which is very, very famous. So we saw Ganesha-bhujanga also. A murti which is described by the term Ganesha, may that murti fetch. So that is the simple meaning. But then he describes certain other aspects which are far more interesting, and we find there is a beautiful alankara which is embedded here. Okay. Sada bala rupa pi vighnadrihantri. So bala rupa pi murtihi vighnadrihantri. So Vighnadrim hantiti Vighnadri hantri. So Vighna is obstacle, Adri is mountain. So Vighnadri hantri means that which is able to trash away. Okay? So split, destroy, all that means hantri. So hantri, kasya hantri. So there he says Vighnadri hantri. So this Vighnadri, if you want to do this, so there are two ways in which one can derive this word. So Vighnaha Adririva. Vighnaha Adririva Vighnadri. Like Purushaha Vyagraiva. Purusha Vyagraha. This is called Upamita Samasa or Upamana Uttarapada Karmadharya. So both ways people say. So Purusha Vyagraha, suppose you say Purushaha Vyagraiva. In fact, we have this also, no? Narashardula. Uttishta Narashardula Kartavyam Devamanhikam. So Shardula is also used to. So all these terms actually mean Shrestha. Okay. In fact, we have Simha, we have Vyaghra, we have Shardula, we saw, right? So there are similar terms. Even sometimes Naga is also used. See, there is a word Pingala Naga when you say. Pingala is the name. So Pingala Nagaha means Shrestha. Pingalaschaso Shreshtascha. So Pingala Nagaha. Okay. So these are certain terms that are employed to refer to Shreshtyam. Okay. So here we have Vighnadri. So those are terms, those are told to you only to say that this can be a Upamita Samasa like that. Okay. So here Vighnadri hantri. So Vighnaha eva adrayaha Vighnadriyaha. Vighnaha adraya iva. Okay. So this so many Vighnas, therefore you want to describe, okay, as Adri. So Adri is unbreakable, not easily destroyable. So if you have a pot, you can just throw and then you can destroy it. What can you do to the mountain? Okay. So it is something which is difficult to destroy. So it is in that sense Vighnadri hantri. But then Vighnadri hantri is a description for the Murti. But then how does the Murti look like? Bala Rupa Pi. Bala Rupa Pi Murti Vighnadri hantri. Bala, so his ability to destroy things may not be that great. So there are difficult tasks which cannot be destroyed by a Bala. See, assume that there are so many people who want to destroy your plan. You plan something, you do something, and they want to somehow destroy the whole plan. Okay? This all kinds of things are there, but this cannot be done by a Bala. Okay? So here, Bala Rupa Pi Vighnadri hantri. So there is a Virodha. Okay? So how can a Bala Rupa destroy me? So this is what is called Virodha Bhasa Alankara or Virodha Alankara. See, we have Virodha Alankara. Some people say Virodha is merged with Virodha Bhasa. Anyway, Virodha Bhasa, I remember, Shleshadibhur Virodhaschet. Repeat. Shleshadibhuhu virodhaschet virodha bhasata mata. Virodha bhasata mata. Shleshadibhur virodhaschet. Shleshadibhur virodhaschet. Shleshadibhur virodhaschet. Virodha bhasata mata. Virodha bhasata mata. Virodha bhasata mata. This is the definition. The example given is apyandhakarinanena, 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 jagade tat prakashyate, jagade tat prakashyate, jagade tat prakashyate, jagade tat prakashyate. So this prakashanam can happen only through light. The source of light can do prakashanam. So here andhakari means the one who generates andhakara, darkness. So the generator of andhakara produces so shining to the whole world. So this is a virodha bhasa. Example. So virodha is evident between andhakara and the prakashana kriya. So here we have to understand this as andhaka is the name of an asura. So andhakasya, like murari, when you say. Similarly andhakari. Understand? Andhakasya arihi andhakari. So andhakarina refers to a Lord who is the destroyer of andhaka. So he makes the whole world shine. Andhakarinanena. So here this is a shlesha. So through shlesha it can come, through various other things also this can come. Anywhere you find a virodha between one description and the other one. So we have this virodha bhasa alankara or virodha alankara. Okay. Now here we find that bala rupa bhi vignadrihantri. So a bala cannot destroy a mountain. But this bala, in the form of Ganesha murti, can destroy. Therefore, we have a virodha alankara. Okay. Sada bala rupa pi vignadrihanti. Then we have the next description. Mahadanti vakrapi panchasya. Danti is a word that is generally used to refer to elephant, that which has a special tusk, so therefore special teeth. So Danti. So Mahadanti Vaktra. So Mahamschasau Danti cha Mahadanti, you can see. A big elephant, mighty elephant. So Tadeva Vaktra. Vaktra means Mukham. So that which has elephant face. So you can understand Mahadanti Vaktra Esha Murti, this Murti has the elephant face. Mahadanti Vaktra Pi Panchasya. The word Panchasya, see, you have to understand a little carefully. Panchasya, asyam also means mukham. Asyam means mukham. So pancha is 5. So 5 faces are normally familiar for Parameshvara. Sadyojatadi Panchavatra. Okay, there is a song also. Sadyojatadi Panchavatra. Okay, Sadyojata. So we have this. Sadyojatam prapadyami sadyojataya vai namo namaha bhave bhave nati bhave bhavasvaman bhavodbhavaya namaha vamadevaya namo jyeshthaja namah shreshthaya namo rudraja namah kalaya namah kalavikarnaya namo balavikarnaya namo balaya namo balapramathanaya namah sarvabhudamanaya namo manonmanaya So Vamadeva is said. Third is Aghorebhyo Thagorebhyaha Ghora Ghoratadebhyaha Sarvebhya Sarva Sarvebhyo Namaste Rudrarupebhyaha. Fourth is Tatpurusha. Tatpurushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayat. Fifth is Ishana. Ishana Sarva Vidyanam Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Brahmadipatihi. So Adhyojata, Vamadeva, Aghora, Tatpurusha, Ishana. Okay, these are the 5 phases which are familiar, okay, with respect to the description of Parameshwara. Okay. So with the description. So, Pancha Asyani Yasya, suppose you say. So, Panchasya. So that refers to Parameshwara. But here, this Pancha does not refer to number 5. So here you see we have to show the Virodha. So in each quadrant of the verse, there is a Virodha. First, second, third, you see. First you saw Balarupa Vignadri. Okay. So Balarupasya Vignadri Haranatvam na yuktam. So there is a Virodha. Second also you have to bring in Virodha. So you have said he has an elephant head. So these elephants are attacked by lions. So they will go pounce upon and then they will try to split the head. Okay. So Panchasya refers to lion here. So Panchasya Simha. Okay. So what does Pancha then mean? Pancha means Vistrita. Vistritam Asyam Yasya. Okay. Pancham means Vistritam. Okay. Vistiranam. So this refers to elephant. So Panchasyihi Manyaha. So this this elephant, okay, normally attacked by lion. But here he says elephants are attacked by lion. But this elephant faced will be resurrected by lion. So that is why we have a Virodha here. You understand? So elephants, they can be trashed. So Simha is the Vanaraja, right? Because of its might, okay, the power. So they will just go and pounce upon the head and then finish the elephant also. But they have to do in such a way that they don't get trapped in the tusk. So the elephant is more mightier, so with respect to the tusk that it has. But they will just jump, pounce upon the head and then try to finish them. So this is a Virodha once again, you see. Mahadanti Vaktrapi. Though elephant faced, this is highly respected by the lion. Okay. Panchasya Manya. Okay. Then Vidhindradi Mrigya Ganesha Bhidhami. So here we don't find the Virodha. First two he brings in. This is a simple description. Mrigya means the one who is searched by. Okay. The one who is Mrigya. Okay. Mrigya means the one which is to be searched for. In fact, the word Marganam is also used to refer to arrow. Okay. Because it just goes in a certain marga. Okay. Vidhindradi Mrigya Ganesha Bhidha. So Vidhindradi Mrigya. So this particular thing, one can even say, see, even the previous description, one can say that there is a Virodha. You understand? Vidhi refers to Brahma. Indra refers to the Lord of the heavens. Okay? The Deva. Devalokadhipati. So Vidhindradi Mrigya, the one who is sought after even by these people, you say. So if it is a simply Gajavaktra, who will search after? Okay. So it is a very, very special one. Vidhindradi Mrigya Ganesha Bhidha. This is a simple description. description. That murti is called Ganesha. Ganesha-bhidha me. Me means to me. Vidhattam shriyam kapi kalyana murti. Okay, so this first verse is dedicated to Ganesha. So Ganesha, just to see that the composition goes through well. So Ganesha is supposed to be the deity who can get away all the obstacles on our way. So therefore, Bhagavatpada begins Subrahmanya-bhujanga with a prayer to Ganesha. Another way to see is, so this, anyway, he is the elder brother. So let us pay some respect to him and then come to the younger fellow. So that could be the other way of seeing this. So Ganesha bhidhami vidhattam shriyam kapi kalyana murtihi. Okay, so the first verse, I repeat.
Sadakala rupapi vignadrihanti mahadanti vaktapi
Panchasya manya vidhindradi mridya Ganesha bhidhami vidhattam shriyam kapi kalyana murtihi. Okay. Then we go to the next verse. The next verse is, so there are two versions that are available in this verse. The first and the second lines are swapped. The way I have read long back is, so you start with Najanami padyam najanami gadyam. Repeat. Najanami padyam najanami gadyam. Najanami padyam
najanami gadyam
najanami shabdam najanami chartham.
najanami shabdam najanami chartham najanami shabdam najanami chartham
Chideka shadasya hrididyotate me. Shadasya hrididyotate me. Chideka shadasya hrididyotate me. Mukhan nisvarante giraschapi chitram. Mukhan nisvarante giraschapi chitram. Mukhan nisvarante giraschapi chitram. So chitram nisarante. See, nisarante means they flow out. Sarati means flows. So mukhat nisarante. They keep flowing out of the mouth. What is flowing out of the mouth? Giraha. Gihi girau giraha. Okay. So Vani. So here Bhagavatpada says, I don't know, somehow this seems to be outpouring from my mouth. Okay. Chitram. What is Chitram here? So that he explains. Najanami padyam najanami gadyam. So padya and gadya refer to poetry and prose. Okay. Padyam najanami. So padyam najanami means padya rachanam najana. Essentially, padya rachana. How to compose padya, I do not know. In fact, this is sometimes true. I know. There were at least two people I have seen in my life. One person does not know, has not even gone to schools. Some lady, something. Okay? Very old lady I have seen long back, 30, 40 years back. So things just come out of her. Slokas. She has not gone to school, she has not studied Sanskrit, etc. etc. Okay, it just comes out. Okay, this is Chitram. There was another person who was basically a manager in a bank. He cannot speak a single sentence in Sanskrit. He has studied certain things. But I have seen him composing beautiful verses in Shardula Vikridika, Sargsara, etc. So Padyam just comes out of some people. So that is what Bhagavatpada here says, Chitram. So that is what Chitram. Chitram means it is a surprise. Okay? It just makes me wonder. So these words are just flowing out from my mouth. It is a great wonder. Why? He says, Najana Vipadyam. Then he says, Najana Gadyam. So Padyam is a little more difficult. Those who know Sanskrit, they can write a few sentences in Sanskrit. So by training, they can speak a few sentences also. But then composing a Padya requires a certain talent, because you may have to fulfill all the metrical conditions. Okay? So the number of syllables, Guru, Lagu, all that has to be fitted. Okay? So in the composition, without that it cannot be described as a Padya. Okay, so he says Padya is more difficult. First he says, I don't know how to compose poetry. Najana mi gadyam. I also do not know how to compose prose. Najana mi gadyam. Gadyam can be considered a little more easier than Padyam. Okay, therefore you move to the next level. Then he says, Najana mi shabdam. I don't even know appropriate words. What to put where? Shabdam. Even before we know Shabda, we know Artha. Right? The child who is born, it knows that there is an entity. It may not know how to describe that entity. So, Arthasya Jnanam happens before Shabda Jnanam. Right? It knows mother, it knows father. But you have to describe this person as father, this person as mother. So this has dahi, this has some handi. Okay, today they do the handi, right? What is that? Dahi handi. Okay. So this is today's special day, Krishna Jayanti. They say dahi handi means Krishna was very fond of drinking curd. So handi means that mud pot. So we find various poets describing that Krishna will go and pierce that handi with a stick and then drink. Okay, so this dahi handi they say. Anyway, so this handi word, dahi word, etc. is known after somebody teaches you. But before that you know the artha. Then first artham buddhva anantaram shabdarachanam. Okay. So here the description is, I don't know how to compose poetry, I don't know how to compose prose. Neither do I know what shabda is. And finally he says, not even artha. Then the later part says, Chideka Shadasya. In the first verse we have the word Ganesha Vidha. That Murti which is described by the term Ganesha. Here he is referring to Subrahmanya because he is described as six-faced person. Shadasya, see, Chideka Shadasya Hridi Dyotate. Dyotate means Prakashate. Okay. Hridi Dyotate. See, Me Hridi Prakashate. So a six-faced light is glowing in my mind. Hridi, in my heart. So that is a six-faced deity which is glowing. Chideka. Eka Chit, in fact, is only one entity. So Eka Chit. So this Subrahmanya, so in fact the description is he gave Upadesha even to parents. This Om. Om is the essence of Veda. So he is described as an embodiment of consciousness. Okay. Chideka. Eka eva chit. Sarvatra prakashamana chit eka. So that is the whole idea. So whenever, so Bhagavatpada or any person for that matter, so you can invoke the Devata in any form you like. And that entity is described as Chidrupa. In fact, you will find this Chidrupa Paradevata, so describing Amba. many sutras, right? So chideka shadasya hrididyotate me. So something which is shining in my heart. And the moment it happens, mukhannisarante giraschapi chitram. So what is the meaning? Intended purport of this verse is, so you need not be a great expert in Shabdartha. In fact, a kavya is essentially a beautiful composition which comes out of the appropriate choice of words and their meanings. You have a certain thought, and that thought has to come out in the form of words, so which narrate it with a great charm. So that is essentially a kavya. So padya, gadya, whatever it is. So this happens without my mastery in any of them. That's what he is trying to say. It essentially means you need the grace. So for something to come out. Okay. So that conscious being dwelling in my mind generates all these words. So that is what he says. Okay. So najanami padyam, najanami gadyam, najanami shabdam, najanami chartham. Okay. So in fact that is why even Kalidasa plays Vagartha iva sampruttau Vagartha pratipattaye. Right at the beginning of Raghuvamsha. Vagartha pratipattaye jagatah pitarau vande. So Vak here refers to Shabda, Artha. So tasya pratipatti. What word to employ to convey what meaning. So one there is the Shabdartha. Right? Ramaniyartha pratipadakaha Shabda kavyam. Right? So that is how kavya is. So here Bhagavatpada says, so this is something beautiful. This is amazing piece of literature, Subrahmanya-bhujanga. Okay. So it is just coming out since this Shanmukha is dwelling in my mind. Okay. So that is what he says. Okay. Repeat. Najanami padyam, najanami gadyam, najanami shabdam, najanami chartham. Chideka tadasya hrididyotate me, mukhannisarante girasya vichitram. Third verse. Mayuradhirudham mahavakyagudham.
Mayuradhirudham
Mahavakyagudham. Mayuradhirudham mahavakyagudham. Manoharideham mahacchittageham.
Manoharideham mahacchittageham. Manoharideham mahacchittageham.
Mahideva devam mahavedabhavam.
Mahideva devam mahadeva bhavam. Mahideva devam mahadeva bhavam.
Mahadeva balam bhaje lokapalam.
Mahadeva balam bhaje lokapalam. Mahadeva balam bhaje lokapalam.
So here, this verse presents certain interesting epithets. The combination of that is something which is very interesting. The first phrase is a description of the Vahana of Akhu Vahana is the phrase that is used for Ganesha. So Akhu means that mouse. Rishabha Vahana is a phrase which will be used for describing Parameshwara. So each devata has Simha, so is used by somebody. So here the description is Mayuradhirudham. So Mayura refers to peacock. See, Adhirudhaha means the one who has climbed upon. So Mayure Adhirudhaha, Mayura Adhirudhaha. So Adhi Ruhu Dhatu So here, this Mayuradhirudham is a description of physical description, okay, of how Subrahmanya is. Mayuradhirudham. This is a physical description to just make the distinction between the other description that you find here. Mahavakya-gudham. This is something which is tangible. The intangible part is Mahavakya-gudham. Mahavakya refers to the four sentences. They are, of course, very, very short sentences, but they are Mahavakya. Mahanti Vakyani, Mahavakyani. Mahatvam kinnama. Mahatvam is not in terms of the number of syllables. Mahatvam is in terms of the content. Okay, Mahatvam in terms of, they carry a very, very, very profound content whose significance cannot be understood so easily. And they speak of the ultimate truth also. Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma. So these are called Mahavakyas. So Mahavakya Gudham means the one who has hidden himself behind the Mahavakya. So Guhyate, from that Kta Pratyaya we have. So Mahavakya Gudham. So this is an abstract description. So the first description is a tangible one. The second one is an intangible description. Okay? Mayuradhirudham Mahavakya Gudham. Okay? So Mahavakya Gudham. Then we have then third one is Manohari Deham. So Manohari Deham. So in Tamil there are so many songs there. Alagandu sollukku muruga. This phrase basically means Alagu endra sollukku muruga. Alagu means beauty. Okay? So if at all one entity who can be described as Alagu, so you are the only fellow. Understand? So that is how a poet describes. Alahendra sollukku muruga. So this description that we find, Manohari Deham, so your physical form, okay, is so attractive. Okay, Manohari Deham. So this describes the physical form of Subrahmanya. Then you see the next one, Mahachitta Geham. Geha refers to dwelling place, house. Geha means house. So Mahachitta Geham is a phrase that refers to the dwelling place of Subrahmanya. Which is the dwelling place of Subrahmanya? Mahachittam. So Mahatam Chittam Mahachittam. But Mahatam means, what is Mahatvam? See, we use the word Mahatma Gandhi. What is Mahatma then? Atma means solar. There is no, it doesn't have any size. Okay. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahina. Okay. So the self, there is nothing like Mahat. So this Atma essentially means mind there. Okay. So thoughts, mind is what is Atma. So one whose thoughts are great. So he is described as Mahatma. Okay. So Mahatma means that. So similarly here, Manohari Deham Mahachitta. Okay. So Mahanti Chittani Yeshante Mahachitta. When you say Mahanu Atma Yasya Saha Mahatma. So Mahanu Atma means Mahatvam refers to the great virtues that is held by that Atma, that Buddhi, mind. Okay? The mind which holds great thoughts. Okay? So it has nothing to do with selfishness. It has a very, very broad Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that kind of a great thoughts which dwell in the mind makes that person a Mahan. So here he says, Mahachitta Geham. Subrahmanya is described as one who dwells in those minds which possess great thoughts. Okay? So this is what is Mahachittam eva Gehaha. See, Mahachittam eva Gehaha. So yes, aha. Okay, Mahachitta Geham. So this is again an abstract description. So Manohari Deham Mahachitta Geham. Then we have Mahideva Devam Mahaveda Bhavam. Mahideva Devaha. Mahideva Devaha. Mahidevanam Devaha, Mahideva Devaha. So Devaha is a term that is used to refer to Devatas, okay, deities, you may call. Okay. So Dyotanatvam is the dharma of Devas. Okay. So Dyotate means sort of Prakashate. Sometimes this Devanam is used from the meaning, see, Kridati. So they enjoy, they play without any effort, that kind of a thing. So this is also another meaning for Deva. Anyway, the idea behind Deva is one who is able to exercise a certain power and force and can make things happen. So this is what is Deva. A certain force which can make things happen is what is referred by Devata, one who governs that force. Okay, now this Deva, here Mahideva, okay, Suraha is also gods. Okay, so Deva is God, that's what it is. God is something which can make things happen. God is responsible for things for which you and I are not responsible. Okay? So he was just saying, no, at the beginning of the class. So yesterday many flights got diverted. Okay? Diverted from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, here and there, etc. for about 2-3 hours. So what happened? So you can call it nature. So there was a huge burst here, right? So for which you and I are not responsible. So there is some force which is responsible. Okay, that governing principle is what we call as God. Okay. Varuna Deva, Vayu Deva, we use. Now the phrase used is Mahideva Devaha. Okay, he is the God of Mahideva. That is the simple description. So what is Mahideva? Mahi means Prithvi. Mahi means Prithvi. Mahyaha Devaha, Mahidevaha. This is how you have to do, right? Mahyaha Devaha, Mahidevaha. Or Mahyam Devaha. Both we can use. Okay, Mahyam Devaha means the gods here. This is a very beautiful phrase that has been coined by our ancients to refer to people who had been leading a life of great piety, pious life. Okay? So this pious life is what makes distinction between Brahmana and other class. So Brahmana, their dharma is Adhyenam, Adhyapanam, Yajanam, Yajanam, Dana, Pratigraha. Okay? These are the 6 dharmas. So those who engage with these 6 dharmas, okay, without any expectation and live a very simple and pious life, they are considered Brahmanas. These Brahmanas are described by the term Mahideva. Okay. So Mahideva refers to the Brahmanas. Why is this phrase employed to them? Mahyam Devaha. In fact, you can, in simple terms, you can understand the term. Those who are highly venerated in Prithvi. Devas are venerated. You pray that may this be happening to me. Okay? So there are certain divine forces which have to come into play so that things fructify. So we may make some efforts, but unless this, so we have this verse, no? Adhishthanam tatha karta karanancha prithagvidham vividhascha prithak cheshtaha daivam chaivatra pancham. So daivam means the divine force, okay, that intervention. So that is another unknown variable, okay, which has to be helpful in order to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So you go to the exam, you prepare so well, nothing comes to your mind. What will you do? Blank. Right? You can't do anything. There are some fellows like that. They will slog very hard. Okay? So sometimes I find, okay, suddenly answer striking to me in the exam. I thank God. See, so it has to come there, right? So when you write the exam, Shastra, so everything has to come to your mind. So this is the blessing of Ishvara. Understand? So I have thanked my Maker many times. Okay. Now this Mahideva Devaha. See, this Mahideva Devaha. So here the Brahmanas are described as Mahideva. Why? I'll tell you. There is a nice verse. You repeat the verse. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam.
Daivadhinam jagat sarvam.
Mantradhinam tu daivatam.
Mantradhinam tu daivatam.
Mantradhinam tu daivatam. Tanmantram brahmanadhinam. Tanmantram brahmanadhinam. Tanmantram brahmanadhinam. Tanmantram brahmanadhinam. Brahmana mama devataha. Mama devataha. Brahmana mama devataha. Brahmano mama daivatam. Some people use in singular, some people use in bahuvachana. What does this say? Jagat Sarvam means the entire functioning of the universe is governed by this force, this divine force. Daivadhinam Jagat Sarvam. The functioning of the universe. We have even these phrases, these questions. This Gargi Prashna also. Kenedam vidhrite tishtataha. Vidhritam means they are. So the moon is moving around the earth. The whole thing is moving around in a clockwise manner. Clockwise, anti-clockwise. Like a clockwork rather, you can say. These are happening. Daivadhinam jagat sarvam. Okay. These are something which are not in our hands. Daivadhinam. See, for 2 years there was lockdown. So who created? Okay. So this is something which is Daivadhinam. The functioning of the Jagat, okay, is ultimately Daivadhinam. Daivadhinam Jagat Sarvam. So within that, I mean, you have understood how to manipulate this, that, etc., and you are able to do this. Right? So the sun is emitting energy, so much of energy all the time. What can you do? You can neither stop nor can create. There is a certain evaporation which continuously keeps happening. You can neither create nor destroy. So that is what brings in this rain. So there is a certain thing which is happening. Okay, this is what he means by Daivadhinam Jagat Sarvam. Then he says Mantradhinam tu Daivatam. So people have chanted certain mantras. And these mantras have been found to be favoring us by doing this upasana of the mantra. Mantra dhinantu daivatam. In fact, this is very interesting. You remember, so we were seeing this at the beginning of Shukana Sopadesha also we have this. No? So Atitivra Visham, there is a phrase that he uses. Okay? So even mantras cannot. So there he uses this phrase. So this Dahajvara. So one of the phrases that he employs is this moha that you have due to yavana is something which cannot be controlled. This visha that it generates cannot be controlled even by powerful mantras. So he says. So the effect of the mantra can be there in curing certain things. In fact, I know of even recently, couple of hundred years back, even the body which is described as dead, okay, somebody is lamenting, some upasaka goes, and then he brings in the body to life. Some trees have also been revived like that. You found that Shukana Sopadesha.
Satatam amulamantra shamyaha. Vishamo vishaya vishayasvadamoha.
See, amulamantra shamyaha vishamaha
Vishaya vishasvadamoha.
Vishaya vishasvadamoha. See, Vishaya eva visham. See, Vishayaha eva visham. So vishasvadamoha. See, so this is it. Vishayeshu asvadaha is like vishasvadaha. Okay, the delusion that is created by the sensual experiences of various objects. So amula mantra shamyaha. So this visha is mantra shamya. That is what I wanted to tell you. Okay? There is a certain effect that the visha is supposed to have. But that effect can be sort of nullified through the mantras. Okay? That is why I say mantra dhinantu daivatam. Okay? That this poison has this effect is not something which is created by you and me. It is created by the daiva. Okay? So these things have certain features. But these features are not something which we can create. We can only understand that these are the features. And the effect that is supposed to have on the person can be nullified through mantra. That is what he is trying to say. Amula mantra shamya. In fact, even in my childhood, I remember, so 50 years ago, okay. So when you go to this village, so there will be a person, okay, so some pious person who is considered a Josya. Okay. So you go to him and then, so in villages, this bite of serpent is more common. At least 50, 60 years back I am seeing. So there was an old person, I remember seeing him when I was just a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. So he is supposed to be a master of this. Okay. So through the mantropasana, so he will be able to sort of nullify the effect of the poison. See, that is why this Banabhatta uses. So Mula Mantrena api ashamyaha. This Visha is Mula Mantra Shamya. But the Visha in the form of Vishaya Rasa is not Mula Mantra Shamya. Okay. Anyway, that is a very beautiful poetic description. So here, Mahideva Devam, when he says, this Mahideva refers to Brahmana. Why? Tanmantram Brahmana Dhinam. Okay? So those are people who have dedicated their life to do this upasana and gain the power of the mantra and make use of it for the benefit of the society. Therefore, they are considered devas. Understand? So now Mahideva refers to Brahmana and Mahideva Deva is this Subrahmanya. See, Mahidevanam Deva. Okay. So, Mahideva Devam. Mahidevaha ye Tesham Devaha. Understand? So, Tesham Devaha means the one Upasya. Okay? Upasya of the Mahidevas. Mahideva Devam. Then he uses this phrase Mahaveda Bhavam. So these Mahideva are physical. So they do the Upasana of Subrahmanya. Okay? Mahideva Devaha. Then he uses this phrase Mahaveda Bhavam. Okay? So Mahaveda Bhavam. So Mahaveda can be simply taken as the great Veda. Tasya Bhavaha means Sarabhutaha. Okay? So Bhavaha means the essence of it. The essence of it, because see, Om Indra Mandirattai. In Tamil, there are Om is something which has been given as a Upadesha by Subrahmanya. We have this, in what is this? In the Mundakopanishad. Om ityetadaksharamidagvim sarvam tasyopavyakyanam. Idam sarvam Om. Om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam. So the entire Bhuvana is Vak, and the Sarabhuta of the Vak is Om, and the Devata of, okay, that is Subrahmanya. So therefore, Mahaveda Bhavam. Okay. Then Mahadeva Balam. But we know him as the son of Parameshwara. Mahadeva Balam. Simple description. So this is a tangible. So one is physical form. Then Bhaje Lokapalam. Lokapalam Bhaje. So this Lokapala is, there are multiple meanings that can be associated to Lokapala. See this in 8 different directions also we have this Varuna, Yama, etc. They are considered as Lokapala. Nirrati, they are considered as Loka. There the Loka means direction. Loka means subject. Lokapala can refer to even the king. Raja is a Lokapala. So the Lokaha can refer to the various Bhuvanas. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha. That can be referred as Loka. Okay. Lokyate is the Lokaha. Okay. So that can refer to the physical world. Okay. So this Loka here refers to the subjects. Okay. World as well as the subjects in the world. Okay. So te tanu palayatiti Lokapala. The one who is the benefactor of the world and the people who are dwelling in the world. Okay. So Bhaje Lokapalam. So this is the description. Okay. Read this. Mayuradhirudham mahavakyagudham manohalideham mahaschittageham Mahidevadevam Mahavedabhavam Mahadevabalam Bhaje Lokapalam. Okay, we'll stop here. Om Sarve Psikhinas Santu Sarve Santaniramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makaschid Dukha Bhavetu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.